Okay, so the dramatic reveal. All right, this thing isn't automatic. It's all green. It's all sealed. There's no more rust. All the electronics are cleaned and put together correctly. Everything's all bolted together the way it ought to be. And now there's something more to be done. Been back working on the carbs. I went and using my handy dandy manuals and the power of the internet, I realized I did a couple things wrongs on this. I built these incorrectly so that the choke was constantly closed. I had to wire that up like this. I also didn't have the jets set with enough base clearance for starting. So this is a real rough setup, but I'm I'm fairly sure that it's possible that the issue is spark related. I was just using a little tester diddly, and I bridged it from each one, and instead of just getting one single flash over four, bum 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 bum, it's going flash 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 flash. So I'm getting some kind of leakage through. So that's my next thing. And then I'll go back to fiddling with these carburetors. So I'm gonna order, I don't know, the best possible of this stuff I can get my hands on, and we'll go from there. I haven't yet, again, looked at the compression on this, because I want to check the numbers again. But first thing I want to make sure is I've got decent spark. It wants to start. It keeps huffing at me, but it's just, it won't do it. But I'll order everything, and then in the meantime, I'm gonna work on, I gotta get the tailpipe all set up and in there. I want to start going forward. I need to clean up all the electrical connections underneath the engine. I've got to track down some wiring, actually. There are a few of these. I need to get a color wiring harness. A few of these that are just, there's nothing, they don't go to anything. I've got a few of them. This ground. Ooh, I meant to tell you, when I was cranking this thing over, it achieved oil pressure. I actually got the oil pressure plugged back in. You can't really see it. Let's see. Hang on. Let me get this down here. The oil pressure comes up. You might hear it go pop. Anyway, oil pressure was coming up too. I don't feel like starting it again. I'd have to, or trying to start it, because it'll go puff and huff, and I'll have exhaust gases running around here. But it was probably in the 60, 65 pound range. Something like that. Up along. About there. That was cool to see. It's probably a good few days later. I got a new coil in there, and I'm still having just weird ignition stuff, but I have, even though the cap and stuff in there is new, I'm getting like the best of the best delivered. So I'm gonna not think about the engine for now. But it occurred to me with the firing problems and the fact that a lot of the lights and things just don't seem to work. So I'm gonna put the engine on hold for right now. I need to wait for all new ignition stuff to come. So that's my thing. So seeing as I was having electrical problems, I said, well, I really should look behind the dash. Maybe I find a problem. So this is something that was connected to the back of the dash. All the lines are labeled. The tape is coming off. So I'm going to transcribe those. The dash looks to be, well, I don't know how connected anything is. And it looks like it's had some funkiness going on. I don't know. I'm going to have to go through it. I was just telling myself today that these cars are, relatively speaking, pretty simple, but maybe not so simple right here. Well, whatever. Onward and upward. So it is yet a few days later now. I've been learning the wiring harness. Believe it or not, actually, it's starting to make sense to me. I'm still fighting with the electrics. I replaced the points condenser. Now I don't have any spark at all. So Clearly I did something wrong. Like I said, I still think I'm getting a weak spark. It's intermittent. Some things I simply just don't understand. I just don't know electrics on these cars. This thing is putting out 12 point something odd volts. It's just making it to the cap and it's not getting anywhere. I don't have a new cap in yet. That's part of it. So I've been cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. I'm going through all the wiring. This looks bad, but it actually doesn't look bad. It looks a lot better than it did. And I'm cleaning all this stuff up underneath here, around these horns, and basically this entire harness. Getting that all cleaned up. Having it look all nice. You can just getting it all cleaned up in there. But as a side effect, I thought this was cool. Oh yeah, because I'm completely rebuilding this entire signal housing. I should have actually taken pictures of it. It's completely rebuilt inside, totally clean, all rust neutralized, all contacts clean, bright metal, solid. But for some reason, I did not expect that when I turn on the switch, I'm getting taillights, which is nice because I rebuilt those. I was not expecting to get my running light. There it is. So I know the headlights work, high beams, low beams, flasher works. I'm going to rebuild the other side here. I've got the other side. It's just not in great shape. It's better than the other two, actually. Yeah. So I got to pull this one and rebuild that. That's tonight's job. Then I'll have signals. Then I've got to go back to figuring out wiring. But I do actually understand a lot more about how the wiring in this car works. So that's cool. And this looks terrible, but that's just because it's dusty. It's not in bad shape. I have to say though, because I've been doing some cross-referencing, looking at the mgb-gt, which is a Colorado car, and boy, that thing is in way better shape than I ever anticipated. If I'd had that car in the still complete, I probably would have had an easier time getting it running than this one. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But here's the coolest part for me. Let's turn this on again. Look out. Look at that, peoples of Earth. I've got a working gas gauge and my dash lights are working. Well, not that one, but I'll replace it. The oil pressure gauge is actually just running to a dead short. It's not telling me anything, but that gas gauge works. Cool.